Can you catch TB through casual contact? Imagine being in the same room as someone with tuberculosis and wondering if you might catch it just by being there. Tuberculosis is a bacterial infection caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis. It mainly spreads through the air when someone with active lung or throat tuberculosis coughs, sneezes, talks, sings, or laughs. These actions releases tiny droplets that contain the bacteria. If you breathe in these droplets, there's a chance you could become infected. However, it's important to understand that tuberculosis is not spread by touching surfaces, sharing food, or having brief social interactions. Simply walking past someone or sitting in the same room for a short time usually does not lead to infection. The bacteria need to be inhaled in sufficient numbers, which generally happens during prolonged or close contact. For example, living in the same household, working closely in the same space for many hours, or sharing a room for days increases the risk significantly. Research shows that exposure of 10 or more hours per week to someone with active tuberculosis greatly raises the chance of transmission. On the other hand, casual encounters, like passing someone in a hallway or sitting in a waiting room briefly, are very unlikely to cause infection. That said, there are rare cases where transmission has occurred in settings with repeated brief contact or poor ventilation. For instance, coworkers or customers who visit the same poorly ventilated space repeatedly might have a small chance of catching TB. But these cases are exceptions rather than the rule. It's also worth noting that the infectiousness of the person matters. Someone who is coughing a lot and has a sputum smear positive for tuberculosis is more likely to spread the bacteria. Good ventilation and outdoor settings reduce the risk even further. The immune system of the person exposed also plays a role. Healthy individuals are less likely to become infected from brief contact. In summary, tuberculosis is mainly spread through airborne droplets during close, prolonged contact with an infectious person. Casual contact, like being in the same room for a short time or passing someone on the street, rarely results in infection. While the risk from casual contact is very low, it is not zero, especially in environments with poor ventilation or repeated exposure. It's always best to follow public health guidelines and consult healthcare professionals if you think you've been exposed or have concerns about tuberculosis. Remember, understanding how TB spreads helps us protect ourselves and others effectively.